pretty much impossible these days not to go through life comparing yourself to others and then feeling either great about yourself or terrible about yourself depending upon how you measure up. So how do you escape the comparison trap? When you read through the psychological and self-help literature, the advice pretty much boils down to this. Stop comparing yourself to others. Compare yourself to you. Stop looking to others to approve you, but approve yourself. But here's the problem with that advice. What if you are your own harshest critic? What if you can't even measure up to your own standards? What if you can't meet your own expectations? What if you compare the real you to the you that you think you should be, and you still feel terrible about yourself? There's a better way to escape the comparison trap. Consider what Paul wrote in 1 Corinthians chapter 4, verses 3 through 4. He begins by saying this, "I care very little if I am judged by you or by any human court." We read that and we say, that's right, Paul, you shouldn't care what other people think. It only matters what you think of you. But then Paul continues and he says this, "Indeed, I do not even judge myself." So Paul says, I don't care what you think, and I don't even care what I think of myself. I don't care how you evaluate me, and I don't even care how I evaluate myself. He continues to say this, "My conscience is clear, but that does not make me innocent. It is the Lord who judges me." He says, it doesn't matter what you think of me. It doesn't even matter what I think of me. It matters what God thinks of me. But what happens when I measure myself against God's standards? I still find that I fall woefully short. I still find that I lose that comparison game too. But here's the thing about God's holy standards. There is one who perfectly measured up to those standards and then died in my place for my inability to meet those standards. Jesus, who lived the perfect life that I couldn't live and then died on the cross in my place for my sins. And in him, I find the forgiveness I need for my inability to meet standards that I set for myself, the standards that others set for me, and most importantly, my inability to measure up to God's standards. You see, the more that you embrace God's grace and the forgiving love that is found in Jesus, the more that you are freed from the comparison game. Why? Because you know that you are loved as you are. You know that you're worth so much that the Son of God gave his life willingly for you. And the more that you know that you are loved and that you're of immense value, the less threatened you'll be by someone who's better looking or richer or doing life better than you are. And the less that you'll need to boost your ego by looking down on others. You're a sinner, saved by grace, perfectly loved and valued by the only one whose opinion really matters. And the more you embrace that, the more you're going to find that one step at a time you can begin to escape the comparison trap.